My final project is on re-entrant programming, specifically on the CICS transaction server by IBM. CICS stands for Customer Information Control System. It is a transaction server where programs can be executed by multiple users simultaneously without interfering other threads or with shared resources. According to IBM, CICS is used by over 90% of the Fortune 500. It's also used by banks, insurance companies, government, and education. WIU has several transaction servers, most notably STARS and WIUP, as well as batch processing. Navigation around CICS systems is typically done by transferring from program to program with 4-letter screen codes. Programs have cipherable names and 4-letter screen codes that are displayed in the lower left-hand corner on STARS and WIUP. Both of our transaction systems have different landing pages. For WIUP, it is the NEWS News screen, and for STARS, it is the INST screen. Here we can see the landing page for STARS, INST. The program name, TCW802L, and the screen code, INST, are displayed in the bottom left-hand corner of the page. STARS is configured for web access only. Navigation through STARS in the web interface is done through a select menu. The menu is populated with all of the screen codes available to the user. Those screen codes are then parsed from the HTML, sent to the program, and evaluated, and the user is transferred to the appropriate screen. WIUP is also configured for web access, but here it includes a display code box right above the Enter button, which allows the user to enter a 4-letter screen code and transfer themselves manually instead of through a menu. WIUP is also set up for 3270 terminal access, also known as green screens. A transfer in CICS works like this. First, a program is requested through a screen code. The form is submitted and evaluated, and the user transfers to the new program. However, because of the security involved with both STARS and WIUP, the program must verify that the user has permission to be on that screen before it transfers. When a program is started, it requires specific information in order to get to the second pass where details are displayed. The program will evaluate the COM area for necessary information. If the information is not found in the COM area, the program will then prompt the user to select specific parameters for the program. Once enough information is present to complete the query, the program will enter the second pass. Here we see a STARS session with CATD catalog description screen on the first pass. We will attempt to submit the program with only the department abbreviation filled in and not the class number. Doing so is not enough information to successfully get us to the second pass, but instead we are taken to the first pass again with class number highlighted in red, indicating an error. We try again by entering 410 into the class number and submitting the form again, this time successfully taking us to the second pass of CATD, where it displays the catalog description for the course selected. Note that there are 7 distinct buttons on the screen: Enter, Refresh, Previous Course, Next Course, Open Sections, Department Courses, and Course Search. Each button will take us to either CATD, first or second pass, or to CRSS, first or second pass, with different variables in the COM area. Here we can see all 7 buttons and which screen they take us to and the expected pass to enter the screen on. If we select the refresh button, we will stay on CATD, go to the first pass with an empty COM area. This will not give us any course details displayed, but instead will prompt us to enter the course department and course number. By pressing enter, The values selected in the department abbreviation dropdown and the course number text box will be evaluated by the program. Previous course and next course buttons only appear on the second pass of CATD, where department and course number are already known. By selecting previous or next course, the search will increment or decrement the course number and return the lesser or the greater, depending on which was selected. The course search, department courses, and open sections buttons will transfer us to the CRSS screen. Course search will take us to the first pass, and it will bring with us the department, course number, and infer this term and open sections values. Department courses and open sections will take us to the second pass of CRSS, with or without the course number depending on which button was selected. Again, this term and open sections flag will be inferred from CATD. Here is an example of a search on stars. We're going to go to the CATD screen through the drop menu. Once we get there, we'll be taken to the first pass of CATD, where we will be able to input the department abbreviation and the class number. By doing this, we have given the program enough information to complete a successful search and give us the second pass of CATD, which provides us with the catalog description of the course selected. We'll then choose to go to Open Sections, which will transfer us to CRSS. By clicking Revise Search Criteria, we go to the first pass of CRSS, not back to CATD. If we remove the course number and search courses again, we will go to the second pass of CRSS, which will show us all of the current open courses. This is similar to going back to CATD and choosing Computer Science 410 again, but instead of clicking on Open Sections, we click on Department Courses. This will take us to the second pass of CRSS with the department abbreviation, but not the class number. Now we're on the second pass of CRSS for all available computer science courses for this term that are open. By revising search criteria, we can then select a different term or other parameter options not available to us on CATD. Over on WIUP, we can see that the course search program is just like the one on STARS, except this includes a display code box next to the enter and refresh buttons. This display code gives the user the ability to manually enter screen codes they wish to transfer to instead of relying on a search box for navigation. Some considerations when programming for CICS is having to know what screen was last visited. For example, on WIUP, when attempting to access the SUMM screen, on the first pass we are given the ability to enter the WIU ID number. For this example, we will enter an ID that has invoked the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA. When a user attempts to access a student's record who has invoked FERPA, for the first time of the session, the user will be transferred to tag 111L, which does not have a display code. This screen displays to the user notice that the student has invoked privacy, and will give the user the ability to view record, which will continue the transaction, or cancel, which will fail out the transaction, reset the COM area, and return the user to the calling program. When the user selects View Record, continuing the transaction, they are taken back to the second pass of SUMM. Code to get to this would look similar like this. Running the sum program will eventually get to an if statement that checks to see if privacy has been invoked on the student. If it has, the user has to transfer to tag 111L. However, when working with a single record that has privacy invoked, we would enter an infinite loop transferring to tag 111L, selecting view record, and then starting sum over again. When we get to this if statement, we'll continue to transfer tag 111L until the user selects cancel, failing out the transaction, never getting to the second pass of SUMM with that ID. Instead, we can check the COM area for the following information that indicates we have already seen tag 111L for this ID. For example, if privacy is invoked and tag 111L has not been visited, transfer to tag 111L. This allows us not only to skip over the transfer step on subsequent re-entry, but also allows us to maintain the value of tag 111L until the ID changes, which will prevent the FERPA message from being displayed before every screen.